Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So today we're going to talk about this so-called silver squeeze, stacking precious metals for preparedness and survival, and some words of extreme caution for the markets moving forward in the coming days and weeks. So let's get to it. All right, so many of you have probably caught wind of what's going on with the precious metals market right now. Brad over at Full Spectrum Survival just made a great video about it. A man whose journalistic prowess far exceeds mine in every capacity. His knowledge of current events, I think, is second to none in the preparedness community. So definitely go check out his channel. The guy's even created a program that has an algorithm that sources all the information from around the world and gives them up-to-date, real-time SHTF info. So he's the channel you want to be subbed to if you want to know what the hell is going on in the world from a prepping perspective, okay? But we got to talk about this precious metals thing because I'm very skeptical. Now, on Sunday night, I'm sitting around, I'm listening to a Pocket Talk and all the other prepping channels, and I'm hearing a lot about precious metals. Is there a short squeeze coming on precious metals? Sure enough, I took the bait. I went on, I can't remember which website it was. I don't want to give anybody any plugs. Just a website that sold silver, one that I purchased from in the past, and I bought myself some silver. But before I bought some silver, I emptied a little bit out of the cart because I was thinking, am I getting hustled here? Is there a bit of a rub going on? And I'm thinking that I probably did get hustled, but it's not a big deal because I didn't buy that much. And you can never really go wrong with precious metals. I mean, you may lose a little bit, but the thing with precious metals is that if it does hit the fan and the dollar goes to zero, at least you have something that holds value. For me, precious metals are only a way to store value. They are not a way to get rich, short squeeze or not. Now, I gotta post a big disclaimer before we dive into the silver thing and why I'm very suspicious about what is supposedly going on with that and these so-called shortages. I wanna just briefly talk about these short squeeze stocks and people jumping into the market, which I think is great. I think that it's great that more people are getting involved in determining their financial future and making investments which are actually going to see a return for you. Even if you have $10, $100, $1,000, the technology exists now for you to go and make investments which are informed because you also have this thing called YouTube, okay? And YouTube has a wealth of information of people who are very knowledgeable with respect to investing in the markets. Now, I'm going to post some links to some of those people that I listen to, and they helped me get probably 125% return last year, which far surpassed the market. And that wasn't only because of Tesla. There's a lot of other stocks I'm tracking, and I'm personally not a very smart person, but I'll tell you one thing I'm good at is finding out who is a smart person and listening to those people. But it's very important. You do research, you cross-reference, you never go all in, you always hedge your bets. There's a reason why 90% of day traders lose money. Okay, swing traders a little bit less so because you're not just sitting there. And honestly, guys, day trading, in my personal opinion, is probably one of the worst things a person would want to do. I don't know how a person would want to sit there and do that whole dopamine dance with numbers on a screen all frickin' day, just going out of your mind, looking at these numbers, and it just becomes a number. The money doesn't. The money loses its meaning. And this is not just from me saying this. This is from experienced day traders who flip trades in 5 minutes, making them $50,000, and then they lose it all. And they just talk about how it's just an empty existence, okay? The best way, the safest way is to do maybe a little bit of speculation, but you're also a long-term holder. You're a long-term investor. Do some research. I'll post some links in the description to help you out. Doesn't matter if you have $5, $10, $100. You should be able, if you're saving that money could be put into a company that can help it grow, barring that we don't see the total and utter collapse of civilization anytime soon. But you need to be very careful because there's a lot of overzealous comments on some of these recent videos that I've made with respect to GameStop and all that. And I've just got to really caution people, you don't want to be getting in at the peak of the hype. Because once a stock frenzy like that is mainstream and popular, chances are it's already matured and you are going to be left holding the bag. And there's many other investments out there, not just short squeezes. So a lot of people who entered the market in that way are going to have this distorted perception that, you know, you got to just seek out the short squeeze. No, you don't do that. You look for good companies that are going to hopefully, you know, create wonderful things that are going to benefit the world. If we can hold on to it, okay, just a few years more. And that's where you put your money. And then you invest in the grid so that you can get off the grid. That is my, we'll say, 2 or 3 year plan. Invest in the grid to get my ass off the grid. That's what I want to do. I want to be in the country. I want to look out my window and see trees. That's all I want. And we can all get there together. You see, technology is there for you to get a return on your investment, but I will issue a word of caution. If you're using one of these apps that is free and there's no brokerage fees, you need to understand that you are probably the product. If something is free, you are the product. Your data is the product, and it is being sold to these hedge funds, which then use that data to game the system. Okay, I'm not saying that officially, but that's the theory. So keep that in mind, that this is a very complicated game. And what I can tell you from being on the subreddit feeds, actually going and reading Wall Street Bets, I can tell you that this whole silver squeeze thing, this is not a popular idea on that platform. Yeah, there's a few threads, but they're not gaining much traction. In fact, the consensus is, and there's lots of memes about it already, that this is just a boomer idea. And the idea that they're going to force some kind of silver short squeeze, which of course I should say would be market manipulation. I have to say that as a legal disclaimer, and this is not something I necessarily condone at all. But even if they were going to do that, that's not the consensus there. In fact, they're laughing at the idea. If you go and listen to any of these mainstream media videos who are talking about this, whether it's CNN or MSNBC, who are saying, oh, there's a silver short squeeze, it's almost like directing people to go into that market. The problem with it is this, is silver is a boomer game. Okay, the people who are on the Reddit feeds, these are not people who are interested in stacking silver per se. There are people who want to get rich. There are people who want to speculate in the markets and, you know, take those high risk gambles in order to get phenomenal returns. Now, the problem with the silver market is that it's spread out amongst a variety of different equities and mining operations, and then there's the actual hard silver itself. Now, like I said, I got duped. I don't want to say duped, but I got sucked into that whole thing. And on Sunday night, I was trying to buy silver. And lo and behold, it was very hard to find some silver. I think I bought a couple like 5-ounce coins or something. Not much, okay? Just a little bit. Just, you know, dip my feet in the waters of precious metal market. Even though I already have a little bit of gold and I have a few silver coins that a friend of mine gave me. But other than that, you know, I'm not a huge precious metal stacker. Like I say, store of value. Now, what I noticed was that there was some silver available, but you had to dig for it. Now, here's the thing. If I was somebody who was holding a lot of silver and I knew that there was going to be a bit of a squeeze and that the price of silver might go up, I might want to sit on that for a while, okay? And then suddenly make it available when the price goes up. There's other factors to consider here too. If you're a retailer of silver and gold, you have to get that gold from somewhere. So if the price goes up and you go and make a huge order for this stuff and then the price drops, then you're going to be stuck, you know, with that price. So you have to be careful with what you do. But all I'm saying is that this whole idea that this thing was organically birthed from the Reddit feeds and how quickly it was scooped up by the mainstream media, in spite of the fact that I can tell you guys right now, these guys have many other targets in their sights, and it's not silver, okay? That's all I'm going to say. But what I will say is you should probably just go onto Wall Street Bets and hear it from the horse's mouth. Read a few threads, see what people are saying, see what they're memeing about. And it might seem to you that these guys are stupid because of the way they interact with one another and the level of maturity that's exhibited there. But these guys are traders, you know, they're not stupid. They know how to game the markets, and you can bet your money that there's definitely big whales on all sides, okay? It's very likely that there was some big money on all sides of this whole situation. Remember, we're talking about billions of dollars lost here. If you're going to be losing billions of dollars, let's say you were going to lose 20 billion bucks, okay, from a short squeeze, you wouldn't care if you had to spend $1 billion to create some army of anonymous bloggers and commenters and bots to go in there and hype something up to maybe take attention away from something that was ongoing. There's a lot of theories out there right now floating around about what's going on with this silver thing, but I'm very skeptical of this so-called silver shortage. I think a lot of it is that sellers are apprehensive about getting rid of their silver and then having to restock at a higher price, then the price is going to dip. The thing with silver, though, is it's highly doubtful you're going to see some GameStop epic short squeeze where the price is going to go up 10x. Like, I just can't see that happening. There's plenty of other good investment, sound opportunities out there that people should be going after instead of speculating in the markets, guys. So I just don't want to see people lose what little they actually have. But I do think that even if you get in there, even if you lose a little bit, you still stand to gain by taking an interest in the market, by getting involved and educating yourself, and you live and learn. And quite frankly, it's better that you get in there. Even if you do lose a little bit now, it's better to lose a little bit now than a whole lot later on. It's better to make the mistakes early. And this is going to be an entryway into a lot of people into the market. Imagine a capitalist society. Just imagine for a sec, a capitalist utopia, or the closest thing to it, where everybody was an investor and everybody was an experienced investor who invested for themselves in things that they liked. Could you imagine a world like that? What it would look like? You know, I think that would be an awesome world to have everybody empowered by their money. And that would, by its definition, make currency deflationary, because then you're always beating inflation. And the problem is poor people don't benefit from the expanding stock market. They actually are beaten down by the ongoing inflation. Their currency is always worth less. And this is why I've been very hopeful lately, is that I do believe that you're going to have this merger between social media, blockchain, and the ability to trade on the markets. These three things are going to fuse in such a way which I think is going to change the world for the better forever. Hopefully, okay? I'm hopeful. It's amazing how well we are at our most vulnerable possibly ever in history. While there's so many different ways that we can destroy ourselves right now, we have the convergence of all of these technologies which have the potential to potentially liberate us in a variety of ways if we can make it through the big squeeze that is coming. Because I can tell you the dinosaurs of old, they're going to resist these changes. There's a lot of people who don't want to give up their privilege. I'm talking about the real privilege now, okay? I'm talking about the people who, you know, old money, okay? Old money don't want to give up old money. And old money doesn't like new money. And there's a lot of new money right now because, like I said, this is the biggest reverse transfer of wealth that we're seeing right now. And it's a glitch in the matrix, okay? It's the integration of social media and fintech, financial technology. These two things have given the people a wild card that they can use. Now, it may be the case that the government's going to go in there and regulate the heck out of it. But I tell you, when an idea's time has come, there ain't much you can do about it. You can take down a person. You can take down an army. You can take down a whole people. But you can't take down an idea. Okay, guys? So invest wisely. Don't get too caught up in this silver hype. If you bought into it like I did, it's not the end of the world. I mean, now you got some precious metals. It's just another thing that we do as preppers. It's an important hedge against a hyperinflationary scenario. But let's just see what happens in the next couple days. And remember, even if the price does go up 50%, look, there's lots of speculative stock plays out there that go up like that every day, okay? The markets, whether it's in a recession or we're in a bull market, there's always going to be opportunities out there. You just have to find them. And that's why I'm going to post some links in the description to people who have helped inform me to make better decisions. And don't just take their word for it. Go and do copious amounts of research, because if you got time and you got a little bit of money and you got a smartphone and a computer in front of you, which I know you do because you're watching me right now, there is no reason why you can't turn that $1 into $1.10 and turn that $1.10 into $1.25 and so on and so forth. So go check that out. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe and stay tuned for episode 2 of Normies versus Preppers that's going to be going live tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy that. Stay safe, guys.
The best way to support this channel is to support yourself by gearing up at CanadianPreparedness.com, your one-stop shop for premium, high-quality, brand-name products that have been tried and tested by myself and other YouTube gear reviewers. My subscribers save 10% off by using the coupon code SurvivalPrepper. All one word in all caps.